Welcome to the ASP .NET WebForms step-by-step series designed specifically for absolute beginners who want to learn WebForms the right way from the ground up. In this series, you will master key topics like the WebForms page lifecycle, working with the server control, understanding code behind structure, managing state, and accessing data using SQL. Whether you are a complete beginner, a student preparing for interviews, or a developer transitioning from other technologies, this series is perfect for you. Each video is hands-on with live code, practical examples, and project-based learning to help you apply what you learn instantly. Don't forget to subscribe to ASP NET and SQL Academy and turn on notifications so you never miss a video in this beginner-friendly WebForm series. Welcome to this deep dive into the ASP.NET WebForms page lifecycle. Think of a web page like a living document. It goes through multiple stages from birth to rendering and finally to death. Understanding the page lifecycle is essential for writing clean, efficient, and bug-free ASP.NET applications. In this video, we will cover each stage in depth. Explore how and when to interact with the controls and understand how events and view state play into it. The ASP.NET page lifecycle is a sequence of steps the page goes through during a request. The core stages include init, load, postback, pre-render, render, and unload. Each has a specific role and order. If you understand when things happen, you can hook your logic at the right time. The init stage is the very beginning. ASP.NET creates controls based on your markup. Each control is assigned a unique ID to track it. However, view state is not available yet, so you should not try to access user-entered values at this point. In this example, we use the page init event to dynamically create a button. This is a good place for dynamic control creation since it occurs early in the life cycle. During the load stage, view state is restored. Now, controls can access values saved in previous postbacks. The page load event is triggered here, making it the most commonly used place for loading data or initializing components. Here is a classic use of page load. We check is postback to ensure we only bind the drop down once, not on every post by. Post by refers to when the user submits the page by clicking a button, for example. ASP.NET posts form data back to the server and recreates the page. This mechanism allows you to retain state between interactions using view state. View state stores values of controls in a hidden field as a base64 encoded string. It allows ASP.NET to persist state, but since it increases page size, use it wisely, avoid large objects or frequent changes. You can manually use viewState to store custom values. It is useful for things like user selections, sort orders, or small session-like data. The pre-render stage occurs just before rendering begins. It is your last opportunity to modify control properties or layout. Use it to apply final logic or adjust visibility and styling. In this example, we set a label to the current time in pre-render. This ensures it displays the most accurate value right before the user sees the page. Render is where the ASP.NET server-side controls are transformed into plain HTML that browsers understand. While you can override the render method, it is usually not recommended unless you are writing custom controls. After render, the unload stage handles cleanup. Here, you can release file handlers, database connections, or log information. However, since the response is already sent, you can't change the UI or write to the response stream. Event handling happens after load and before pre-render. This includes user-triggered actions like button clicks. You must ensure control values are up to date before you process logic in these handlers. A common confusion is between page load and control events. Page load runs before event handlers. So, If you are trying to use values updated by the user, wait for the event handlers. The isPostBack property helps you decide what code to run only on the first page load. This prevents rebinding data or overwriting user input during postbacks. In a real world case, say you have a grid showing orders. A user filters the grid, clicks a button, and you want to preserve the filter. This is where view state and the page lifecycle play together. Load the filter during page load only if not a post back, and use view state to store selections. Developers often access view state too early, like in init, or forget to check is post back, causing controls to reset. Another mistake is binding controls during every load instead of only the first time. Let us practice with some interview questions. What is the difference between load and pre-render? When exactly is view state restored? And what happens during the unload stage? These are common questions that test your practical understanding of the life cycle. To wrap up, the ASP.NET WebForms page lifecycle includes init, load, postback, pre-render, render, and unload. Understanding these stages helps you write efficient, reliable code. Use ViewState for preserving data and handle events wisely. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more practical ASP.NET tutorials.